Sunlight pours through the museum's tall windows, illuminating the marble floors as visitors weave between exhibits. Marcus Bell stands near a Renaissance painting, adjusting a display card with careful hands. His presence is calm, his suit impeccable, but the air around him is marked by invisible boundaries. A white donor glances at Marcus's name tag, then looks away, offering no greeting. The black security guard nearby shifts his stance, noticing the exchange with a tight jaw. Evelyn Marsh enters briskly, her designer bag swinging as she surveys the gallery. She spots Marcus but walks past him, approaching a young white intern instead. "Excuse me, could you get the curator? I'd like to discuss this piece," Evelyn says, her tone brisk. The intern hesitates, glancing at Marcus. "Dr. Bell is—" "Actually," she begins, but Evelyn cuts her off. "No, the head curator, the one in charge." Marcus turns, his voice steady as he steps forward. "I'm Dr. Bell. How can I assist?" Evelyn's smile is thin, her eyes darting between Marcus and the intern. "I see. This placard seems incomplete," she says. Marcus replies, "It's part of a broader narrative we're building. Would you like the full context?" Evelyn's expression hardens. "Perhaps another time," she responds, moving away. The security guard coughs, drawing Evelyn's annoyed glance. The intern fidgets with her badge, mumbling an apology to Marcus. He shakes his head gently. "Not your fault," he says, watching Evelyn retreat. A donor nearby whispers to his companion, "They'll let anyone wear a suit these days." The words hang in the air, unchallenged. The museum's walls hold centuries of art, but the unspoken rules about who belongs and who is overlooked remain. Marcus stands quietly, the weight of experience in his posture. The security guard gives him a nod of respect while the intern lingers, uncertain. The moment passes, but the tension lingers, setting the stage for a storm that's quietly building. Before the story continues, please let us know from where you are watching this video. Write your city or country in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like if you believe in stories that challenge injustice. Your engagement gives power to voices that need to be heard. The gallery hums with quiet footsteps and hushed voices. Evelyn Marsh strides past Marcus Bell, her eyes scanning the room but deliberately avoiding his steady gaze. She approaches a young white intern, her tone brisk and dismissive. Evelyn says, "Could you get the real curator? I want a proper tour." The intern hesitates, glancing at Marcus, then back at Evelyn. "Dr. Bell is actually the curator here," the intern replies, voice uncertain. Evelyn's expression doesn't change. "No, I mean the head curator, the one in charge." Marcus steps forward, voice calm but firm. "I am Dr. Bell. How can I assist you?" Evelyn's smile tightens, her eyes flicking between Marcus and the intern, disbelief barely masked. "Oh, I see. Well, this placard seems incomplete," she says, holding the card as if it were a failing grade. Marcus meets, her gaze steady. "It's part of a larger narrative we're developing. Would you like me to explain?" Evelyn's dismissal is swift. "Perhaps another time?" She turns away, heels clicking sharply on the marble floor. The intern looks apologetic, fiddling with her lanyard. Marcus watches Evelyn's retreat with quiet dignity, saying nothing. Nearby, a donor mutters to his companion, "They let anyone wear a suit these days?" The words hang in the air, unchallenged. The museum's grandeur masks the undercurrent of exclusion. Marcus stands composed, embodying resilience amid dismissal. The intern's conflicted glance and the security guard's tightened jaw speak volumes about the unspoken barriers. The moment lingers, a silent testament to the quiet battles fought within these walls. The young intern stands frozen between Evelyn and Marcus, her eyes darting nervously. She bites her lip, caught in the tension that fills the gallery. Her fingers fidget with the edge of her badge, a small but telling sign of discomfort. Evelyn's expectant gaze presses down on her, waiting for a response. The intern swallows hard, glancing at Marcus's steady, composed face. She hesitates, then speaks softly. Dr. Bell is the curator here. He's very knowledgeable. Marcus offers a subtle nod of encouragement, his calm presence a stark contrast to the intern's uncertainty. The intern's voice wavers as she adds, "I'm sorry if there was any confusion." Evelyn's lips press into a thin line, her eyes narrowing slightly. She turns away, leaving the intern caught in the quiet aftermath. The intern exhales slowly, her shoulders relaxing just a fraction. But the weight of the moment lingers. Nearby, a janitor pauses with his mop, watching the exchange with a knowing look. A security guard shifts uneasily, his gaze flickering between the intern and Evelyn's retreating figure. The museum's polished floors reflect the subtle fractures in the facade of civility. The intern glances back at Marcus, who offers a small, reassuring smile. The moment is heavy with unspoken truths, a silent witness to the slow unraveling of old power structures. The scene fades with the soft murmur of visitors moving through the halls, the quiet tension lingering like a shadow. Marcus stands quietly, watching Evelyn disappear into the next gallery. He straightens a display card, his hands steady and precise. The intern lingers nearby, her gaze uncertain, but Marcus simply offers her a gentle nod, letting her know there's no blame to carry. A group of visitors passes, their curiosity piqued by the subtle tension in the air. Marcus greets them with a warm, professional smile, answering a question about the exhibit with practiced ease. His voice is steady, his posture relaxed, but there's a heaviness beneath the surface, a silent protest against the disregard he just endured. The security guard walks by, pausing for a moment. He gives Marcus a respectful nod, a small gesture of solidarity. Marcus nods back, his expression unreadable, but grateful. The intern, still holding her badge, finally speaks. "I'm sorry, Dr. Bell. I should have said something sooner." Marcus replies softly, "You did fine. Sometimes it's better to let actions speak." He returns to his work, adjusting another placard, his movements deliberate. The museum's grandeur continues around him, but Marcus's quiet strength is unmistakable. He refuses to let the slight define him. Instead, he channels his energy into the details. Every card, every artifact, every interaction a testament to his dignity. The moment passes, but the impact remains. The intern watches Marcus, learning from his restraint. The security guard resumes his patrol, a little taller. Marcus's calm is not just for himself. It's a lesson for everyone who witnesses it, a silent reminder that dignity cannot be taken, only ignored. As the gallery settles back into its usual rhythm, Marcus's presence lingers, a quiet force, beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to rise. Marcus stands still as Evelyn's figure fades into the distance, her heels clicking a retreating rhythm. His eyes hold a quiet storm, a patience forged through years of unseen battles. The intern watches him, uncertainty etched across her face, sensing the weight behind his calm. A janitor pauses nearby, mop in hand, his gaze lingering on Marcus, with a mix of respect and sorrow. The security guard shifts uneasily, his stance betraying the tension that fills the gallery. Marcus offers a small nod to the intern, a silent signal of resolve and endurance. The museum's polished floors reflect the shifting power beneath the surface. Whispers ripple through the staff. Change is coming, slow but inevitable. Marcus's steady breath fills the space, a quiet thunder that promises transformation. The moment hangs heavy, a charged pause before the storm breaks. As the crowd moves on, Marcus's gaze remains fixed, unwavering. The storm in his eyes is not one of anger, but of quiet strength, a promise that the museum's walls will no longer hold silence. The future waits, and Marcus is ready to lead the way. The intern steps closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "Dr. Bell, what happens now?" Marcus turns slowly, his expression steady. "We keep moving forward, one step at a time." Nearby, the janitor resumes his work, but his eyes remain watchful. The security guard exhales, a subtle release of tension, and nods toward Marcus with newfound respect. The gallery feels different now, lighter, charged with possibility. The quiet storm in Marcus's eyes is a beacon, a call to those who have long been overlooked. A visitor pauses nearby, overhearing the exchange. She nods slowly, her eyes reflecting, a dawning understanding. "It's about time," she murmurs. The intern smiles faintly, hope flickering in her eyes. Marcus's calm is contagious, a steady force in a world ready for change. The janitor wipes his brow, a small smile breaking through his usual reserve. The security guard straightens, his posture more assured, the atmosphere shifting subtly. The auditorium buzzes with excitement, rows of graduates shifting in their seats as the ceremony begins. Marcus sits among them, his cap perfectly straight, hands folded tightly in his lap. The dean steps to the podium, voice ringing out, "Let's celebrate the promise of tomorrow." He calls a white student's name, praising his potential and leadership. The applause is loud. The cameras flash. Marcus's name is next, but the mention is brief, almost an afterthought. "And Marcus Bell, for academic excellence." The crowd claps politely, but the spotlight has already moved on. Marcus stands, his smile practiced, eyes scanning the audience for his mother. She waves from the back, pride shining in her eyes. He nods to her, but inside, the moment feels hollow. The ceremony continues. Other students called up, each one celebrated for qualities Marcus knows he possesses: drive, vision, resilience. Yet, he remains on the edge, his achievements quietly minimized. Years pass. Marcus finds himself in staff meetings at the museum, his ideas met with polite nods but rarely implemented. Promotions go to others, colleagues with less experience, less education. The pattern is familiar, a quiet repetition of that graduation day. In the break room, a coworker leans in, voice low. "You ever feel like you're invisible here?" Marcus just shrugs, unwilling to give voice to the frustration he carries. Late at night, Marcus reviews project proposals at his kitchen table. His name is missing from the credits, his work attributed to the institution. He closes the folder, jaw tight, but determination growing. The next morning, he walks the museum's halls, taking in the art he helped preserve. Each step is deliberate, each glance at the plaques a reminder of what he's contributed, even if the world refuses to acknowledge it. The memory of that graduation day never leaves him. It's a quiet ache, a reminder of how easily excellence can be overlooked. But Marcus's resolve only deepens. He knows the cost of being passed over, and he's ready to make sure he's seen. The morning shift begins before sunrise. Darius, the museum's black security guard, fastens his badge and smooths his uniform in the locker room mirror. He walks the halls, checking each gallery with practiced care. Visitors arrive, barely glancing his way, their eyes sliding past him as if he's part of the furniture. A group of donors enters, their laughter echoing. One pauses at a sculpture, frowning. "Excuse me," she calls out, waving Darius over. "Could you fetch someone who actually knows about this piece?" Her tone is sharp, her gaze unwavering. Darius nods, suppressing a sigh. "Of course, ma'am," he replies, voice even. He steps aside, radioing Marcus with a quiet efficiency. As he waits, another visitor approaches, assuming he's the janitor. "There's a spill in the restroom," the man says, not meeting Darius's eyes. Darius simply nods, directing the request to facilities. The pattern repeats: requests, assumptions, a steady stream of reminders that his presence is seen but not valued. During lunch, Darius sits alone in the staff room. A younger guard joins him, eyes downcast. "Do you ever get tired of it?" the rookie asks, voice barely above a whisper. Darius offers a small, tired smile. "Every day, but I'll show up anyway." He glances at the resignation letter tucked inside his locker, unsigned and creased from being handled so often. Later, as the museum quiets, Darius walks the empty halls. He pauses by a display, straightening a placard, his reflection caught in the glass. For a moment, He imagines his name on the wall, his story told alongside the art. The thought fades as footsteps approach. Another request, another reminder. He returns to his post, posture straight, resolve unbroken. The world may overlook him, but Darius knows his worth. He stands guard not just over the museum's treasures, but over his own dignity. The day ends as it began, with Darius walking the marble floors, unseen but unbowed. Anna, the museum's Latina art restorer, works late under the glow of a desk lamp. Her gloved hands move with precision, carefully cleaning centuries-old paint from a delicate canvas. The gallery is empty, every sound magnified. She hums softly, the only music in the quiet. A board member enters, footsteps brisk. He stops behind her, peering over her shoulder. "Are you sure that's the right solvent?" His voice is clipped, doubt heavy in each word. Anna pauses, her heart skipping. "Yes, sir. I've tested it on a sample," she replies, keeping her tone steady. He leans closer, inspecting her work. "I'd hate for anything to go wrong with this piece. It's very valuable." The implication lingers. Anna nods, hiding the sting. "I understand. I'll document every step for the records." The board member gives a curt nod and leaves, his shoes tapping a rhythm of judgment. Anna exhales, shoulders tense. She glances at her reflection in the glass, eyes tired, jaw set. She resumes her work, but the confidence in her movements wavers. Each brushstroke is careful, almost hesitant. The weight of being questioned, of having her expertise doubted, presses down with every pass. Later she packs up her tools, hands trembling. In the staff lounge, she sits alone, replaying the conversation. A colleague enters, offering a sympathetic smile. "Don't let them get to you, Anna. You're the best we have." Anna forces a smile, but the words feel thin. She wipes a tear from her cheek, quickly brushing it away before anyone sees. The next morning, Anna is back at her station, determination in her eyes. She documents every step, her notes meticulous. The doubt lingers, but so does her pride in her craft. Anna's expertise may be questioned, but she refuses to let it define her. She continues her work, each restored painting a quiet testament to her skill and resilience. A janitor pushes his cart slowly through the dimly lit corridors of the museum after hours. The hum of the air conditioning is the only sound as he approaches a cluttered desk. He pauses, noticing a crumpled envelope wedged beneath a stack of papers. Curious, he picks it up and smooths it out. The letter inside is typed, unsigned. It's words heavy with quiet despair. "I can't breathe here. The walls close in with every passing day. My work is unseen, my voice unheard." The janitor's eyes narrow as he reads, the weight of the message settling on his shoulders. He glances around, ensuring no one is watching, then slips the letter into his jacket pocket. The museum's polished floors reflect the flickering lights, above, mirroring the shadows of exclusion that linger in the halls. Later, the janitor places the letter carefully into Marcus's mailbox, a silent act of solidarity. He lingers a moment, his gaze meeting Marcus's in a brief, unspoken exchange. The janitor's presence is a quiet reminder of the many stories buried beneath the museum's grandeur. The scene fades with the janitor resuming his rounds, the letter a small but powerful testament to the fractures within the institution. The museum's history is rich, but its present is marked by the struggle for recognition and respect. Marcus stands in the museum's foyer, a glossy magazine in his hands. The cover features the latest exhibit, his exhibit, bathed in dramatic light. The headline reads, "Ashfield's Vision, a Triumph of Tradition." Not a single mention of Marcus's name. He flips through the pages, searching for credit, but finds only vague references to the museum's curatorial team. A donor nearby beams, waving the magazine at a friend. "Our legacy shines, doesn't it?" she says, pride thick in her voice. Marcus forces a polite nod, hiding the sting behind a practiced smile. The security guard catches his eye, offering a subtle thumbs up, a small gesture of support in a room full of indifference. Later, in his office, Marcus lays the magazine beside a stack of project notes. He runs his fingers over the cover, jaw clenched. The restorer knocks softly, peeking in. "Congratulations on the feature," she says, her voice gentle. Marcus manages a quiet, "Thank you," but the words feel empty. The board chair strolls past, pausing at Marcus's door. "Great. Press, Dr. Bell? The museum's reputation is in good hands." Marcus nods, biting back the urge to ask whose hands exactly. The chair moves on, oblivious to the slight. As the day wears on, Marcus fields questions about the exhibit's success, each one reinforcing the institution's ownership of his work. He answers with grace, but inside, frustration simmers. The recognition he deserves remains just out of reach, claimed by the very system that keeps him in the background. That evening, Marcus tucks the magazine into a drawer, out of sight. He sits at his desk, determination hardening in his eyes. The world may overlook his name, but Marcus refuses to let his legacy be erased. The museum's office lights flicker as staff shuffle through another long afternoon. Phones buzz with new messages, but one email chain spreads like wildfire. An anonymous sender has forwarded a string of board communications to every inbox. The subject line reads, "Leadership Direction. Confidential." Staff gather in corners, reading the emails on their phones. The words are clear, chilling. "We must maintain our image. Traditional leadership is what donors expect. Let's keep familiar faces at the top." The phrase repeats, each time more coded, more damning. A young archivist looks up from her screen, face pale. "They're just saying it out loud now," she mutters. Marcus receives the emails while reviewing exhibit plans. He scrolls through the thread, jaw tightening with every sentence. The restorer knocks, holding her phone. "Did you see this?" she asks, voice trembling. Marcus nods, his silence heavy with understanding. The security guard joins them, his eyes narrowed. "So that's how it is," he says, voice low. The board chair's name appears again and again in the chain, each message reinforcing the same message. "Keep things as they've always been." The staff's frustration simmers, turning into something sharper. The intern forwards the emails to a reporter, hands shaking. "Enough is enough," she whispers. By evening the emails have reached local journalists. The museum's reputation, once spotless, is suddenly under scrutiny. The board scrambles, but the damage is done. The staff, once divided by fear, now find common ground in their anger. The phrase, "traditional leadership," becomes a rallying cry for change. Marcus closes his laptop, resolves hardening. The system's true colors are exposed, and the call for accountability grows louder. The museum can no longer hide behind polite words and polished halls. The time for quiet endurance is ending. A group of high school students gathers around Marcus in the sculpture wing, their phones out, recording as he explains the story behind a centuries-old piece. His passion is infectious, his knowledge deep. "Art isn't just what you see," Marcus says, gesturing to the intricate marble. "It's what you feel, what you question." One student, Zoe, whispers to her friend, "He should be running this place." Her phone captures every word, every gesture. Marcus smiles, answering questions with patience and warmth. The security guard stands nearby, arms crossed, a rare grin on his face as he watches the students hang on Marcus's every word. Later, Zoe uploads the video to social media. Within hours, it spreads, first among classmates, then across the city. Comments flood in. "Why isn't he the director?" "Best tour I've seen." The museum's social media manager notices the spike in notifications, her fingers flying across the keyboard as she tries to keep up. The video catches the attention of a local reporter who shares it with the headline, "Meet the Heart of Ashfield Museum." The staff gather in the break room, watching the clip on a cracked phone screen. The restorer wipes away a tear. "That's the Marcus I know," she says softly. The board chair sees the video, his jaw tight. Donors email, some praising Marcus, others questioning why he's not in charge. The intern smiles for the first time in days, hope flickering in her eyes. The museum, once a place of quiet exclusion, buzzes with new energy. Marcus watches the video alone in his office, a small, genuine smile breaking through his usual reserve. For the first time, he feels seen, not just by the staff, but by the world outside these walls. The power is shifting, and everyone can feel it. By morning, the museum's name is everywhere. Social media explodes with posts and retweets of the student's video. The hashtag #TheaterHireMarcus climbs the trending list, each message more urgent than the last. He changed how I see art, someone writes. Why isn't he the director? Another demand. The museum's inbox overflows. A donor's daughter posts a selfie with Marcus from years ago, captioned, "He made history come alive for me." Hire Marcus. Her friends share it, then their friends. The security guard scrolls through the feed on his break, a rare smile on his face. "About time," he mutters, showing the restorer. She nods, pride shining in her eyes. Inside the museum, staff whisper in the hallways, hope and disbelief mixing in their voices. The intern checks her phone, eyes wide as she reads the outpouring of support. "It's everywhere," she says, voice trembling with excitement. Marcus, meanwhile, moves quietly through the galleries, aware of the shift but refusing to let it change his steady routine. The board chair's phone buzzes non-stop. He scans the messages, face paling as he realizes the old ways are under threat. Donors email, some supportive, others wary. "We need to address this," one writes. "The public is watching." A local reporter calls for comment, her questions pointed. "Will you consider promoting Dr. Bell?" The museum's spokesperson stammers, caught off guard by the sudden attention. The staff gather in the break room, watching the news segment. Together. For the first time, Marcus's name is spoken with respect and possibility. As evening falls, the hashtag is still climbing. The museum's walls, once a barrier, now echo with the voices of a community demanding change. Marcus stands by the entrance, watching the city lights flicker, hope settling quietly in his chest. The world is finally listening. A gold-embossed envelope arrives at Evelyn's apartment, the museum's seal gleaming under the hallway light. She opens it with a flourish, reading the invitation aloud. "You are cordially invited to a special unveiling. VIP access granted." Evelyn's lips curl into a satisfied smile. She pictures herself at the center of attention, mingling with donors and press, her status reaffirmed. At the museum, the board gathers behind closed doors. The chair's voice is tense. She'll expect the usual treatment. Let her have her front row seat. A board member frowns, glancing at the guest list. "We can't keep pretending nothing's changed." The chair waves him off. "Just follow the plan." Marcus reviews the guest list in his office. He circles Evelyn's name, his pen pressing hard against the paper. The restorer steps in, curiosity flickering in her eyes. "You ready for tonight?" she asks. Marcus nods, voice quiet. It's time people saw the truth. That evening, Evelyn arrives in a tailored dress, her heels clicking confidently on the marble. She flashes her invitation at the entrance, expecting deference. The security guard checks the list, then gestures her through with a polite but distant nod. She barely notices, too busy scanning the crowd for familiar faces. Inside, the atmosphere is different. Charged, uncertain. Staff move with purpose, their whispers carrying a new edge. The intern hands out programs, her eyes lingering on Marcus as he prepares for the event. Evelyn finds her reserved seat, front and center, unaware of the shift happening around her. As the lights dim, the board chair glances at Marcus, a silent understanding passing between them. The stage is set, not for Evelyn's validation, but for a reckoning she never saw coming. The museum's walls, once a fortress for the privileged, are about to echo with a new story. The intern sits at her desk, the glow of her computer screen casting soft light on her face. Her fingers hover over the keyboard, trembling slightly as she rereads the leaked emails. The weight of the decision presses down, a quiet storm brewing within her chest. She glances toward the museum's main hall, where Marcus's name is whispered in hushed tones by staff passing through. Her eyes flicker with doubt and resolve. "It's time," she whispers to herself, voice barely audible, steadying her breath. She scrolls to the reporter's contact, hesitating only a moment before forwarding the emails. Her hand steady as she hits send, the screen confirming the message was delivered. Relief and fear mingle in her chest, a rush of adrenaline making her sit back, heart pounding. A photo on her desk catches the light, a snapshot from her first day at the museum, standing beside Marcus, both smiling with hope. She touches the frame gently, a silent promise to stand for what's right, no matter the cost. In the break room, a colleague notices her tense expression. "You okay?" he asks softly, concerned in his eyes. She nods, managing a small smile. "I'm doing what I have to." The words hang between them, unspoken understanding passing in a glance. Outside, the museum buzzes with quiet anticipation. Staff exchange knowing glances, the air thick with the promise of change. The intern's choice is a spark, igniting, a movement that can no longer be contained. As the afternoon sun filters through the windows, the scene closes on the intern's determined face, the glow of the screen reflecting a future rewritten by courage and truth. The museum, once a place of quiet resignation, now hums with possibility. The intern's decision is more than an act of defiance. It's a turning point, a step toward justice that will echo through every hall. The boardroom is thick with tension, the air heavy as members settle into their seats. A clock ticks steadily, each second amplifying the unspoken weight pressing down on the room. Eyes avoid meeting, fingers tap nervously on polished wood, and the hum of whispered conversations fills the space. The chair of the board adjusts his tie, his face pale under the harsh overhead lights. His phone buzzes relentlessly, screen lighting up with another Brian Hire Marcus tweet. He sighs deeply, the sound barely audible over the murmurs. Around him, other members exchange uneasy glances, the old order fracturing with every passing moment. Downstairs, Marcus stands before his office door, the brass nameplate gleaming under the fluorescent light. He pins it firmly, a quiet declaration of presence and purpose. His breath is steady, his gaze unwavering. The weight of years of exclusion seems to lift, replaced by a calm resolve. In the hallway, a janitor pauses, mop in hand, watching Marcus with a mixture of respect and hope. The security guard nearby straightens his posture, a subtle nod acknowledging the shift in power. The intern, clutching a folder, hesitates before stepping forward, her eyes bright with determination. The clock continues its relentless ticking, a metronome counting down to change. The boardroom's silence is a fragile calm before the storm, the moment pregnant with possibility. Outside, the city moves unaware, but inside these walls, history is poised to be rewritten. The scene closes on Marcus's steady hands, the nameplate shining as a beacon of new beginnings. The future waits, and the time has come to step forward. The trottoir. Tension is palpable, a quiet storm brewing beneath the surface. Each board member wrestles with the weight of past decisions and the inevitability of change. The air is thick with anticipation, the kind that tightens throats and quickens heartbeats. A junior member clears her throat, breaking the silence momentarily, but no one responds. The chair's eyes flicker to the clock, then to his phone, the glow reflecting his growing unease. The unveiling event buzzes with low voices and the clink of glass under crystal chandeliers. Evelyn stands near the stage, her pearls perfectly arranged, posture tall and expectant. She exchanges nods with donors, her smile practiced and confident, but her gaze flickers uneasily toward the edge of the room. A board member checks his watch, shifting from foot to foot. The air is thick, charged with an energy that makes everyone stand a little straighter. Marcus lingers in the shadows, his presence quiet but commanding. As he steps forward, the crowd parts, whispers trailing behind him. The intern watches, hands clenched around a program, hope and nerves flickering in her eyes. The security guard stands at attention, gaze steady on Marcus, a silent show of support. Evelyn's eyes meet Marcus's for a moment, a subtle curl of her lips betraying uncertainty before she masks it with a quick nod. The board chair clears his throat, signaling the start. Lights dim, focusing attention on the stage, and the room's grandeur feels suddenly fragile. A donor near the front clears his throat, adjusting his cufflinks. Nearby, a young woman leans to a colleague, her voice barely a whisper. "This is different. You can feel it." Evelyn's smile falters, a flicker of doubt crossing her features. She glances at the exit, calculating, then straightens her clutch with a sharp snap. The security guard's stance is solid, a quiet pillar as the atmosphere shifts. The board chair's eyes sweep the room, unreadable but tense, chandeliers cast fractured light across the polished floor, reflecting the fractured state of the institution. Marcus inhales slowly, shoulders squared. The crowd's chatter fades, replaced by a heavy pause that presses on every chest. The moment stretches, a taut thread ready to snap. The camera lingers on Marcus's steady hands at the podium, a symbol of quiet strength and the change about to break through. The board chair steps forward, adjusting the microphone with a trembling hand. The room hushes, every eye fixed on the stage. Evelyn stands at the front, her smile frozen, clutching her purse a little tighter. The chair clears his throat, voice echoing off marble and glass. "Thank you all for joining us tonight," he begins, glancing at the board, then at the crowd. Ashfield Museum has always prided itself on tradition, but tonight, we honor progress. He pauses, scanning the audience. "It's my privilege to introduce our new curator, Dr. Marcus Bell." The announcement lands like a thunderclap. There's a beat of stunned silence, then a ripple of surprise. Evelyn's fingers slip on her clutch, the bag nearly falling. She stares at Marcus, disbelief etched across her face. Donors exchange startled looks. The intern gasps, hands flying to her mouth. The security guard grins, pride flickering in his eyes. Marcus steps onto the stage, every movement deliberate. He takes the microphone, his calm presence filling the space. "Thank you," he says, voice steady. "This museum belongs to everyone. Its stories, its art, its future." He glances at the staff, nodding to the restorer and the janitor. "We built this together." A donor in the front row leans to his wife, whispering, "Did you know?" She shakes her head, eyes wide. The board chair steps back, relief and apprehension warring on his face. Evelyn's smile fades completely, her posture rigid. The applause starts hesitantly, then grows, first from the staff, then the students, then the crowd. The sound swells, echoing through the hall, washing over Marcus as he stands tall at the podium. The old order cracks, the shift unmistakable. The lights catch Marcus's face as he looks out, a quiet triumph shining in his eyes. Tonight, history is rewritten, not with noise, but with a name spoken into the light. Evelyn stands frozen as the crowd erupts in applause for Marcus. Her heart pounds in her chest, the sound of clapping amplifying the humiliation burning across her face. She tries to steady herself, but her fingers fumble with her clutch, nearly dropping it. The moment stretches, painfully slow, as she realizes all eyes are no longer on her. They're on him. A board member leans toward another, whispering, "She didn't see it coming." The words sting, but Evelyn can't muster a response. She recalls in sharp flashes the times she brushed past Marcus, the way she dismissed his expertise, the certainty that her place in this room was unshakable. Now that certainty wavers, replaced by a hollow ache. She grips the back of a chair, knuckles white, searching for balance. Her breath comes shallow, her vision blurring at the edges. The PR manager glances at her, then quickly looks away, unwilling to share in her discomfort. The junior executive, once deferential, now offers her a sidelong glance, curiosity and a hint of satisfaction mingling in her eyes. Evelyn's mind races, replaying every slight, every assumption. She remembers the intern's timid attempt to correct her, the security guard's patient nod, the restorer's quiet pride. Each memory lands like a blow, stripping away her composure. She tries to speak, but her voice catches, barely more than a whisper. "He's the curator?" The applause grows louder, drowning out her uncertainty. Marcus stands at the podium, calm and dignified, his presence commanding the room. Evelyn feels the ground shift beneath her, the foundation of privilege she once stood on now cracked and unstable. A student in the crowd catches her eye, shaking her head with quiet disappointment. Evelyn looks away, shame rising in her throat. She takes a shaky step back, her heels clicking against the marble, the sound swallowed by the crowd's cheers. As the celebration continues, Evelyn's mask crumbles. Her confidence drains away, leaving only vulnerability and regret. She slips into the background, no longer the center of attention, her world forever changed by a truth she can't ignore. Marcus stands at the podium, the applause gradually fading into an expectant hush. He surveys the room, donors, board members, staff, students, each face reflecting a different emotion: surprise, pride, discomfort, hope. He takes a breath, steady and deep, letting the moment settle. His voice is calm, resonant, but every word lands with weight. "Thank you for being here tonight. This museum is not just a collection of objects, it's a living story, one that belongs to all of us." He pauses, meeting the gaze of the restorer in the second row, then the security guard standing at the back. For too long, some voices have been celebrated while others have been set aside. That ends now. A ripple moves through the crowd. The board chair shifts in his seat, lips pressed tight. A donor fidgets with her necklace, glancing at her husband. Marcus continues, "Every piece in these halls tells a story, and so do the people who care for them. Tonight we honor not just art, but those who preserve it, restore it, protect it, and share it." He gestures to the staff, each one acknowledged by name. The restorer's eyes glisten. The security guard stands a little taller. The intern smiles, relief and pride mingling on her face. Marcus's words are measured, never raised, but the power in them is unmistakable. Evelyn, standing at the edge of the crowd, feels the shift. Her earlier certainty dissolves, replaced by a quiet awe and a sting of regret. She watches as Marcus, with simple dignity, redefines what leadership looks like. The room is silent, hanging on his every word. Marcus finishes, "This is your museum, our museum, and together we'll write the next chapter." The crowd erupts in applause, but Marcus simply steps back, letting the moment speak for itself, a quiet thunder rolling through the gilded halls. Marcus steps down from the podium, the crowd parting as he moves into the gallery. He gestures for everyone to follow, his presence drawing people in with quiet authority. "Let's walk together," he says, voice steady but inviting. The group trails behind, curiosity and anticipation replacing the earlier tension. He stops at a sculpture, turning to the crowd. "This piece was restored by Ana Rivera," Marcus announces, his tone full of respect. Ana, standing near the back, blushes. As the spotlight shifts to her, murmurs of surprise ripple through the audience. "Her hands brought this work back to life," Marcus continues. "It's her expertise, you see, not just the artist's vision." A donor leans to his wife, whispering, "I never knew who did the restorations." The security guard nods, pride flickering in his eyes. The intern beams, relief and gratitude written across her face. Marcus moves on, highlighting the contributions of the janitor, the archivist, the educators, each name spoken aloud, each role honored. Evelyn trails at the edge of the group, her earlier confidence replaced by uncertainty. She watches as Marcus stops to answer a student's question, listening intently before responding with warmth and insight. The student grins, energized by the exchange. "He makes it all matter," she whispers to her friend. As the tour continues, the atmosphere transforms. Staff members stand a little taller, visitors listen more closely, and the board members exchange uneasy glances. The old hierarchy dissolves, replaced by genuine connection and respect. Marcus's leadership is felt in every gesture, every acknowledgement, every story shared. When the tour ends, the applause is spontaneous and heartfelt. Marcus smiles, humility in his eyes. "This place belongs to all of us," he says quietly. The crowd lingers, reluctant to leave, the museum's soul reborn in real time. Evelyn slips out, unnoticed, her VIP status gone. The halls echo with new energy, a future shaped by dignity, inclusion, and truth. As Marcus leads the group into the next gallery, the energy shifts again. He pauses in front of an exhibit featuring letters from the museum's history, some celebrating progress, others revealing prejudice. He reads aloud from one, "We must maintain our standards. Only certain people belong in these halls?" His voice is calm, but the words sting. A major donor, Mr. Whitman, adjusts his tie, sweat beading along his hairline. His wife glances at him, her lips pressed together. The board chair stares at the floor, hands clasped tightly. The crowd grows quiet, the weight of the past settling over them. Marcus turns, addressing the room. "We can't change history by hiding it. We face it, learn from it, and do better." He gestures to the letters. "These are reminders of what we must never return to." The restorer stands nearby, her eyes shining with pride. The security guard nods, his jaw set with determination. A student in the group whispers, "He's not afraid to tell the truth." The intern stands a bit taller, emboldened by Marcus's honesty. The applause is hesitant at first, then grows as more people join in. Mr. Whitman shifts uncomfortably, his wife's gaze lingering on him with a question he can't answer. Thosiswaim. Board members exchange uneasy looks, old alliances fraying at the edges. The donors, once the center of attention, now find themselves exposed, their influence diminished. The museum's polished facade cracks, revealing the truth beneath. Marcus meets the eyes of each staff member, gratitude and solidarity passing between them. The crowd's approval swells, drowning out the discomfort of those clinging to the past. The moment is a reckoning, a silent collective decision to move forward. The gallery feels lighter as the group moves on, the old order left behind in the echo of Marcus's words. The tour winds to its final stop, the crowd now buzzing with energy. Marcus pauses beneath a skylight, sunlight pouring over the group. He turns, inviting questions. A student raises her hand, voice trembling but clear. "Dr. Bell, how did you keep going when no one gave you credit?" Marcus smiles gently, considering his answer. "You keep going because you know the work matters. Even if no one's looking, you do it right." His words hang in the air, resonating deeper than any speech. The intern standing nearby wipes, her eyes moved by the honesty. Suddenly, a young man in the crowd shouts, "We see you, Dr. Bell!" The words ripple outward, picked up by others. "We see you!" Until the whole gallery is chanting. Marcus's composure wavers for the first time. A tear slips down his cheek, quickly brushed away. The security guard claps, his face alight with pride. The restorer joins in, her applause loud and steady. Evelyn, lingering at the edge, watches as the moment passes her by. Her heels echo on the marble as she edges toward the exit, each step a retreat from the new reality. The board chair tries to regain control, but his voice is lost in the chorus of support for Marcus. The applause grows, a living wave that fills the museum. Marcus stands at the center, humility and gratitude etched on his face. He raises a hand, signaling for quiet. "Thank you," he says softly. "This is just the beginning." As the cheers fade, the atmosphere is forever changed. The museum, once a fortress of exclusion, now pulses with hope and unity. Marcus's journey has become everyone's, the crowd's roar, a promise that justice will be seen and heard. Evelyn slips out a side door, the night air cool against her flushed cheeks. Her heels click softly on the stone steps, a quiet retreat from the spotlight she once claimed. The museum's grand lights blur behind her, distant and unreachable. Inside, the crowd swells around Marcus, cameras flashing, voices rising in celebration. He stands tall, the weight of years lifting with each smile and nod. The security guard watches from the sidelines, pride shining in his eyes. Evelyn's reflection catches in a dark window, a woman diminished, her certainty replaced by a hollow ache. She pulls her coat tighter, the fabric a thin shield against the cold and the truth. A passerby glances her way, eyes flickering with recognition and judgment. Evelyn looks down, footsteps quickening, the city swallowing her whole. Back inside, Marcus answers questions with calm authority, his voice steady despite the frenzy. The intern exchanges a relieved glance with the restorer, their shared hope a quiet rebellion. Evelyn's exit is unnoticed, a shadow fading from a stage that no longer belongs to her. The museum's halls pulse with new energy, the old order, quietly unraveling. The night deepens, the city lights flicker, and a new chapter begins. One written, not in whispers, but in the steady footsteps of change. She thinks back to the moments she dismissed Marcus, the subtle dismissals, the unspoken assumptions. Regret tightens in her chest, but she knows the path forward is not hers to claim. The intern smiles softly, her eyes reflecting the promise of change. The security guard nods, his posture relaxed but proud. The restorer wipes a tear, her hands steady once more. Evelyn's footsteps fade into the night, swallowed by the city's pulse. The museum stands as a beacon, its walls echoing with the voices of those finally heard. The museum's future is no longer written by the few, but by the many who have long been unheard. The old order has fallen, replaced by a quiet revolution. And in the stillness, the promise of justice grows stronger, carried forward by the steady footsteps of change. The museum's lobby is a whirlwind of camera flashes and urgent voices. Reporters crowd around Marcus, microphones thrust forward, each one eager for a headline. "Dr. Bell, how does it feel to finally be recognized?" a journalist calls out. Marcus meets her gaze, his answer measured. "It's not just about me. It's about everyone who's ever been overlooked." Another reporter leans in, voice sharp. "Will there be changes to the board? Will the old leadership step down?" Marcus glances at the board chair standing, off to the side, face drawn and silent. "We're focused on building a place where everyone belongs," Marcus replies. "That starts today." The intern stands nearby, her phone recording every word. She exchanges a quick, proud smile with the security guard, who stands a little taller, arms crossed in satisfaction. The restorer, notebook in hand, scribbles down Marcus's words, her eyes shining. Staff members gather in small groups, their conversations buzzing with excitement and relief. A donor tries to approach the podium, but the crowd's attention is fixed on Marcus. The board chair lingers at the edge, his authority diminished, ignored by the very people he once commanded. The cameras turn away from him, focusing instead on the new face of the museum. Marcus answers each question with patience, never raising his voice. "This is just the beginning," he says. "We're rewriting what this institution stands for." The applause that follows is genuine, swelling with hope. As the press conference winds down, Marcus steps back, letting the staff share the spotlight. The intern lowers her phone, her hands steady now. The security guard offers Marcus a firm handshake, pride in his eyes. The museum's halls echo with possibility. The old power has faded, replaced by a collective promise to do better. For the first time, everyone feels seen. The museum's grand hall is quiet now, the echoes of celebration fading into a steady calm. Marcus stands alone, fingers brushing the brass nameplate bearing his name. The weight of years of exclusion lifts, replaced by a quiet pride. Staff pass by, nodding with newfound respect. The security guard offers a small smile. The restorer's eyes glisten with unshed tears. The intern walks past, her steps lighter, her gaze hopeful. Each gesture, small but significant, marks a shift in the museum's heartbeat. Evelyn's empty. Chair sits in the corner, a silent monument to the old guard's collapse. The polished floors reflect a new light, one born of inclusion and change. The air feels different here, lighter, charged with possibility. Marcus breathes deeply, the future unfolding before him. The museum, once a fortress of exclusion, now pulses with possibility. The walls seem to hum with stories long silenced, now ready to be told. The portraits of past curators hang alongside new faces, a testament to progress. A young black girl tours the halls with her class, her eyes wide. With wonder, Marcus kneels to greet her, handing her a map. "This is yours too," he says softly. Her smile is bright, unburdened by the past, filled with the promise of a new beginning. Nearby, a teacher watches, her eyes moist. "Thank you," she whispers to Marcus. He nods, voice low. It's just the start. The camera lingers on the girl's joyful face, the promise of a future rewritten. The museum's pulse quickens, a steady beat of hope and justice. Visitors from all backgrounds share smiles and stories, the barriers of the past quietly dissolving. Marcus's steady hands rest on the nameplate, shining as a beacon of new beginnings. The story is far from over. It has only just begun. The Museum breathes anew, a living symbol of resilience and change. The museum's halls, once silent witnesses to exclusion, now echo with voices of hope and renewal. Marcus steps forward, ready to lead the way into a future where every story is valued, every voice heard. The journey continues, and the promise of justice shines brighter than ever. Evelyn sits alone in a quiet cafe, the soft hum of conversation and clinking cups filling the background. Her latte sits untouched, growing cold as she scrolls through her phone. Headlines glow on the screen. Museum's Reckoning, Marcus Bell's Triumph, a new era at Ashfield. Her cheeks flush, her jaw tightening with a mix of shame and regret. She pauses on a video, still, her own face caught in a dismissive glance at Marcus. The condescension unmistakable. Names of former travel companions flash as unavailable in her contacts. She hesitates, thumb hovering, then deletes her social media accounts. The screen goes dark, her faint reflection staring back from the window beside her. A barista passes by, offering a polite smile. Evelyn barely returns it, lost in her thoughts. Outside, the city moves on, indifferent to her isolation. A neighbor waves from across the street. Evelyn looks away, the weight of her choices pressing down on her shoulders. Inside, the cafes. Warm light stands in stark contrast to the cold silence settling over Evelyn. She folds her hands, eyes distant, replaying moments of dismissal and denial. The quiet feels heavy, a physical presence that reminds her of all that's changed. At a nearby table, a young woman glances over, her look a mix of sympathy and resolve. Evelyn catches the gaze, a flicker of vulnerability crossing her face before she lowers her eyes again. The scene closes on Evelyn's solitary figure, framed by the cafe's window. The door opens and closes as people come and go, the world outside continuing, unaware of the quiet reckoning unfolding within. Evelyn's apartment is still, the only light coming from a desk lamp that casts long shadows across the room. A neat stack of unopened letters sits in front of her, each envelope heavy with words she can't bring herself to send. They are apologies, confessions, and attempts at closure, each one a silent weight on her conscience. Her fingers trace the edge of a newspaper clipping, Marcus Bell's name bold in the headline. She reads it over and over, the words refusing to fade. Outside, the city pulses with life, but Evelyn feels cut off, her world growing smaller with every ignored message and unanswered call. She hears a neighbor greet her from across the street, but she turns away, unable to face even the smallest gesture of connection. The doorbell rings. A delivery is left at her doorstep, the courier already gone before she opens the door. The package sits untouched, another reminder of her isolation. She returns to her desk, hands trembling as she considers the letters. The weight of her choices presses down, her chest tight with regret and uncertainty. The room feels colder, the silence more pronounced. She sits, staring at the envelopes, knowing that each one represents a voice she's chosen not to hear, a chance she's let slip away. A gentle knock interrupts her thoughts. She looks up to see a friend at the door, concern written on their face. No words are exchanged, but the friend's presence speaks volumes, a fragile bridge to a world Evelyn has distanced herself from. They sit together in the quiet, the unspoken understanding filling the space between them. As the evening deepens, Evelyn gazes out the window. The unopened letters a testament to missed opportunities and unheard voices. The quiet is heavy, but somewhere beneath it, a small spark of realization begins to take hold. Evelyn steps into the Ashfield Museum once more, her sunglasses shielding eyes that have seen too much. The familiar marble floors gleam under the afternoon light, but the atmosphere feels different, charged with a new energy she can't ignore. Marcus Bell stands at the entrance greeting a group of students with warmth and authority. His voice carries through the hall, steady and inviting. The black security guard nods at Marcus with respect, no longer invisible in these halls. New plaques adorn the walls, crediting artists and staff who were once overlooked. Visitors pause, reading the names with curiosity and reverence. Evelyn's heels echo loudly as she walks, but no one meets her gaze. She moves quickly, the weight of her past actions pressing down. In a quiet corner, Marcus reviews applications for a mentorship program, his desk scattered with notes and letters of thanks. Ana Rivera, the Latina restorer, approaches with a student's heartfelt note. Marcus pins it to a wall of voices, a growing testament to change and inclusion. The museum breathes differently now, lighter, more open, more just. The boardroom buzzes with new faces, diverse, passionate, ready to lead. The old chair resigns quietly, unnoticed amid the shift. Marcus presents a partnership with local schools, hands rising in unanimous support. The future is no longer held by the few, but shared by many. Outside, news vans crowd the entrance. Reporters ask Marcus about the museum's transformation. He gestures to the interns, a new generation ready to carry the torch. Evelyn watches from her couch, the glow of the television a stark reminder of her fading influence. At a new exhibit, Marcus stands bathed in golden light. "Change doesn't roar," he says softly, touching a sculpture by a once-forgotten artist. A young black girl tours the museum, her eyes wide with wonder as Marcus kneels to greet her. "This is yours too," he tells her. The camera lingers on her smile, a future unburdened by the past. The museum now embraces diversity and hope with every step forward. Marcus sits at his desk, sunlight streaming in through the office window. The surface is covered with applications for the museum's new mentorship program. Names and stories from every background, each one a testament to hope. He reads each form carefully, making notes in the margins, determined to give every applicant a fair chance. A framed photo catches the light. Marcus with his first team, diverse and proud, all smiles on their faces. He glances at it, a quiet reminder of why this work matters. There's a knock at the door. Ana Rivera enters, holding a colorful thank you note from a student. "I thought you'd want to see this," she says, her voice bright with pride. Marcus reads the note aloud, a smile breaking through his usual reserve. "Thank you for believing in us. I want to be a curator one day." He pins the card to a growing wall of voices beside his desk, each message a small victory, each one proof that change is taking root. The phone rings. It's a local teacher calling to arrange a field trip for her class. Marcus listens, jotting down details, his tone warm and encouraging. As he hangs up, the security guard steps in, delivering a stack of community partnership proposals. "Looks like you're making waves," he says with a grin. Marcus laughs quietly, the sound genuine. "We're just getting started." He sorts, through the proposals, envisioning new exhibits, workshops, and outreach programs. Every decision is guided by a single principle: everyone belongs. As the day winds down, Marcus surveys his office, once a place of quiet frustration, now alive with possibility. The museum's walls no longer feel closed in. They breathe with stories, dreams, and the promise of a future built on inclusion. Marcus leans back, content. The blueprints for change are no longer just plans. They are reality, unfolding one hopeful step at a time. The boardroom buzzes with new energy as diverse faces fill the seats once dominated by the old guard. A Black historian, a queer activist, and a young Indigenous curator exchange determined glances, their presence a quiet revolution. The old chair, a symbol of the past, resigns mid-meeting, unnoticed amid the shift. Marcus stands at the head of the table, presenting a partnership with local schools. His voice is steady, filled with hope and resolve. Hands rise in unanimous support, signaling a collective commitment to change. The atmosphere is charged, the future no longer controlled by the few. Outside the room, the museum hums with renewed purpose. Staff members share hopeful smiles, visitors linger longer, and the halls echo with stories once silenced. The boardrooms. Transformation marks a turning point, a new chapter where inclusion is not just a goal, but a lived reality. The scene closes on Marcus's calm gaze, the weight of history balanced by the promise of progress. The museum breathes differently now, alive with possibility and the steady pulse of justice. A junior board member clears her throat, breaking the silence. "This is the change we've needed," she says softly, eyes shining with conviction. Marcus nods, acknowledging the courage in the room. The old chair, his voice wavering, adds, "I may be stepping down, but I believe in the future you all are building." A young Indigenous curator responds, "We honor the past by creating space for all voices." The intern watches from the doorway, her heart swelling with hope. She whispers to herself, "Finally, a new dawn." The security guard passing by pauses to listen, a rare smile breaking across his face. The restorer joins him, nodding in agreement. The museum's walls seem to hum with a new rhythm, a melody of inclusion and justice that promises a better tomorrow. Marcus glances around the room, his eyes meeting each new board member's. "Together we will build a museum that reflects every story, every voice." The room fills with quiet nods, a shared commitment settling like a warm light. Outside, the city's evening glow filters through the windows, casting long shadows that fade into hope. The boardroom, once a place of exclusion, now pulses with possibility. News vans line the street outside the museum, satellite dishes pointed skyward. Reporters hustle for position, cameras rolling as Marcus steps outside, flanked by staff and new board members. The crowd buzzes with anticipation, microphones thrust forward. "Dr. Bell, what's next for Ashfield?" a journalist calls out, her voice cutting through the noise. Marcus smiles, glancing at the interns gathered behind him. "It's their turn now," he says, gesturing to the young team. The interns exchange excited glances, pride and possibility shining in their eyes. The security guard stands nearby, arms folded, watching the scene unfold with quiet satisfaction. Anna, the restorer, hovers at the edge, her notebook clutched to her chest. Inside, a local news anchor interviews the security guard for the first time. His voice cracks with emotion. "I've worked here for years. For the first time, I feel seen." The segment airs on the cafe TV where Evelyn sits, the screen's glow painting her face in stark relief. She watches in silence, the words settling heavily in her chest. The museum's transformation becomes headline news. "Ashfield's New Era, From Exclusion to Inclusion," reads one banner. Social media erupts with praise and questions, visitors sharing photos and stories of their experiences. The board's old guard fades into the background, their influence quietly erased by the tide of change. Marcus answers each question with patience and conviction, never losing sight of the bigger picture. "We're building a place where every story matters," he says. "That's the legacy we want to leave." As the press conference ends, the interns step forward, fielding questions with poise. The museum's future is in good hands, and the world is watching. The scene closes on the museum's entrance, alive with energy and hope. The story of Ashfield's transformation is no longer just local news. It's a beacon for institutions everywhere. Marcus stands before the new exhibit, the late afternoon sun bathing the gallery in warm gold. The crowd falls silent, all eyes drawn to him as he gently rests his hand on a sculpture, tracing its lines with quiet reverence. His presence fills the space, not with volume, but with calm certainty. He begins, voice steady and sure. Change doesn't always roar. Sometimes it walks quietly through these halls, rewriting the story for everyone. The audience leans in, phones raised, the moment heavy with meaning. A donor's daughter wipes away a tear, moved by the sincerity in Marcus's words. Anna, the restorer, stands nearby, pride shining in her eyes. At the back, Evelyn's empty seat is a silent monument to what's been left behind. The museum, once a fortress of exclusion, now breathes with possibility and hope. Marcus continues, "This isn't just about art. It's about the people who bring it to life. The curators, the restorers, the guards, the interns. Every voice matters. Every story deserves to be told." He gestures toward the staff, acknowledging each with a nod or a grateful smile. The security guard stands taller, the intern's eyes bright with hope and purpose. Gentle applause rises, a soft wave of affirmation that fills the room without overwhelming it. Marcus steps back, letting the moment settle, his expression one of quiet satisfaction and resolve. Outside, the sun dips lower, casting long shadows across the museum's facade. The future is uncertain, but the path ahead is clear and open. The camera lingers on Marcus's face, calm, resolute, a beacon of steady progress in a world still learning to listen. As the scene fades, visitors wander the new exhibit, their voices low, the promise of change alive in every step. The museum's story moves forward, quietly but unmistakably, with Marcus leading the way. The museum's halls are alive with the energy of a school field trip. Children's voices bounce off the marble, their laughter echoing beneath the high ceilings. In the midst of the group, a young black girl moves with wide-eyed wonder, her hair pulled back in neat braids, a name tag on her chest that reads, "Future Curator." She clutches a colorful map, her fingers tracing the route from one gallery to the next. Marcus stands at the entrance to the newest exhibit, watching as the children approach. He kneels to greet the girl, his smile warm and welcoming. "This is yours too," he says, handing her a small pin shaped like a paintbrush. She looks at him, eyes shining, and pins it next to her name tag. "Thank you," she whispers, voice trembling with excitement. The teacher stands nearby, watching the exchange with quiet pride. "She's been talking about this visit for weeks," the teacher says softly. Marcus nods, understanding the weight of the moment. The girl leads her classmates through the gallery, stopping at a sculpture restored by Ana Rivera. She reads the plaque aloud, her voice clear and strong. "Restored by Ana Rivera, 2025. Her friends gather around, listening as she explains what she's learned about the artist and the restorer. Other visitors pause, noticing the group. An older woman smiles, leaning down to say, "You're going to run this place someday." The girl grins, confidence blooming. Marcus watches from a distance, his heart full. The security guard gives him a thumbs up, the restorer wipes away a tear, and the intern snaps a photo, capturing the moment. As the tour ends, the girl lingers in the final gallery, her gaze lingering on a painting of a woman who looks like her. She stands a little taller, shoulders squared, hope radiating from her. The museum, once a fortress of exclusion, now feels open and alive, filled with possibility. Marcus meets her eyes across the room, sharing a quiet nod of understanding, a promise that her dreams are welcome here. The camera pans out, capturing the girl's joyful face, the staff's pride, and the museum's transformed halls. The future, once closed, is now unbound, alive with hope, and ready for every story yet to be told.